Welcome to Zoe Crossdressing. I never imagined that a harmless-sounding wager could crack open everything I thought I knew about myself, especially when it was my own mother who made it. My name's Ryan Turner. I'm 22, newly graduated, unemployed in the way that feels temporary but stretches longer every week, and still living under my childhood roof while I try to figure out what comes next. The plan was simple: save money, find a real job in graphic design, maybe move closer to the city and start something resembling an adult life. Instead, I was stuck in our quiet suburban home, 3 bedrooms, trimmed hedges, a perfect fence, and a mother who binged makeover shows like they were instructional manuals for life. From the outside, I passed as painfully normal. Quiet. Easygoing. A gamer. Not much of a talker. I even had a girlfriend, Emma, who was way out of my league and somehow still chose me. She was sharp, confident, fearless with her words. I admired that about her. I also hid things from her. Big things. Like the clothes. They'd been hidden for years, buried deep in the back of my closet beneath an old box labeled college notes. Dresses. Skirts. A few blouses I'd borrowed long ago. I didn't know when the curiosity started, only that slipping into those soft fabrics brought a strange stillness with it. Not excitement. Not guilt. Just calm. A feeling that scared me enough to lock it away and pretend it didn't exist. I told myself it was nothing. A phase. Something no one ever needed to know. That illusion shattered last Sunday. I was sitting at the kitchen table, half-heartedly scrolling through job postings, when my mom walked in wearing yoga pants and holding her ridiculous #MomBoss mug. She studied me like I was a puzzle missing one crucial piece. "You know," she said casually, "you've got a really good face." I blinked. Thanks? I mean it. Balanced features. Soft jaw. Great brows. She tilted her head. If I'd had your bone structure in the 90s, I'd have been on magazine covers. I laughed nervously. Guess I missed my era. She didn't smile back. "I bet," she said slowly, setting her mug down, "that if I gave you a full makeover, clothes, hair, everything, you'd pass flawlessly." My stomach dropped. "What?" She grinned. "You'd be a gorgeous daughter." I nearly spit out my coffee. "That's not funny." She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "I've noticed things, Ryan. The way you hover when you fold laundry. The lipstick that vanished for weeks and magically returned. Don't worry, I'm not upset." My face burned. "I'm just saying," she continued lightly, "I could pull it off." I shook my head. "That's insane." She shrugged, eyes sparkling. "Then let's make it interesting. One game of Scrabble. If I win, you let me give you a full makeover." And just like that, a single bet stood between my carefully buried secret and everything I thought I was. Head to toe. 1 hour. No backing out. I stared at her. Was she actually serious? "And if I win?" I asked. She leaned back, folding her arms with theatrical confidence. "Then I never mention it again. Ever. I promise." I paused. My mind raced. Was this her way of easing me into a confession she already suspected? Was she trying to help, or just indulging some strange curiosity of her own? None of it mattered. She had never beaten me at Scrabble. Not once. "Fine," I said. "You're on." I lost. Completely. Triple word score. Effervescent. Who even keeps that word loaded and ready? By that evening, I sat alone in my bedroom with the door shut, pulse thudding as I studied my reflection. It was just a bet. An hour. A stupid game with stupid consequences. That's all it was supposed to be. Except a part of me felt pulled toward it. I could already remember the softness of fabric, the strange comfort it brought. The way makeup subtly reshaped my face into something gentler, truer. This wasn't exposure anymore, it was permission. And that terrified me. Emma still didn't know. Not because I doubted her kindness, but because I couldn't survive losing her. She was my first real relationship, the first person who chose me without hesitation. What if this changed how she saw me? So I said nothing. But time didn't care about my fear. Less than a day remained before my mom would make good on her win. Monday arrived too quickly. I stood outside her bedroom, barefoot, palms slick with sweat, excuses stacking up in my head. I could cancel. Fake sick. Claim an emergency. Say Emma was coming over. I didn't move. The door opened anyway. There you are, she said brightly, grabbing my wrist and pulling me inside like I was about to step onto a ride I couldn't escape. Nervous, she asked. No, I lied. She laughed. Good. You should be. Her room smelled like perfume and coconut lotion. The vanity was covered in brushes, palettes, and lipsticks laid out with surgical precision. On the bed waited everything she'd chosen, a soft blue wrap dress, nude heels, padded lingerie, and, my stomach flipped, a long chestnut wig styled in loose curls. This is a lot, I muttered. She raised an eyebrow. Sweetheart, halfway would be a crime. I sat when she told me to, sinking into the vanity chair. I expected jokes, commentary, maybe even awkward remarks. Instead, she grew quiet. Focused. She tilted my chin gently and began applying foundation, her movements careful, almost reverent. And with every brushstroke, the line between fear and longing blurred just a little more. You've got incredible skin, she murmured, blending carefully. Honestly, if I'd had pores like yours. Mom, I groaned. I'm just stating facts, she said with a small smile. And you don't have to be afraid of this. I'm not, I said quickly. She met my eyes through the mirror. You are, she replied gently. But you're curious too. I didn't argue. I just watched as the brush moved again, powder locking everything in place, then a whisper of blush warming my cheekbones. Somewhere between the foundation and the soft rhythm of her hands, my shoulders dropped. The tension I'd been holding melted away. There was something strangely calming about it, about being still, about letting it happen. You've done this before, she said quietly. I stiffened. Not with me, she clarified, almost immediately. I just mean, you're not pulling away. Most guys would be panicking by now. After a moment, I nodded. Just once. Maybe twice. When I was alone, I said softly. She smiled, not smug, not teasing. Understanding. Thank you for trusting me, she said. The words hit harder than I expected. My throat tightened. No one had ever thanked me for this part of myself, certainly not with kindness. She told me to close my eyes. I felt the cool glide of eyeliner, the gentle brush of mascara against my lashes. Lipstick came last, a muted mauve that softened my mouth without screaming for attention. Okay, she said. Open. I barely recognized the person staring back. It wasn't just makeup. It was the way my eyes looked larger, brighter. The subtle structure the blush gave my face. The softness of my lips. I didn't look like I was wearing makeup, I looked like a girl. A pretty one. That realization scared me more than anything else so far. Mom stepped back, clearly pleased. Not bad for a first pass, she said. Now, let's get you dressed. The dress felt strange at first, light, smooth, unfamiliar. It clung in places I'd never thought about before. She helped adjust the bra, fixed things so the fabric felt clean and natural. Then came the wig. The moment the soft curls settled around my face, something shifted. This wasn't costume anymore. I stood in front of the full-length mirror and inhaled sharply. A girl stared back at me. Shy. Nervous. Beautiful. Me. Well? Mom asked, appearing behind me. I don't know, I said, unable to look away. I told you, she said gently. You'd make a lovely daughter. I didn't respond. I was too busy blinking back tears. The next hour blurred together. Walking lessons in heels. Gentle corrections. Laughter when I nearly wiped out in the hallway. Hips, she coached. Posture. Pretend you're balancing a book. I complained, but secretly, I loved it, the attention, the care, the way she treated this like something worth doing well. Then she reached for her phone. Wait, what are you doing? I stepped back. Just one picture, she said lightly. For me. No, I said quickly. No photos. I don't want anything permanent. She studied me, then set the phone down. Okay. I understand. But the look on her face told me she knew what I did, that this wasn't ending here. The doorbell rang. My blood went cold. Mom glanced toward the hallway. Probably a delivery. What if it's Emma? Panic surged. She said she might stop by later, what if she came early? Relax, Mom said, peeking out the window. She smirked. Oh. It's just Claire. My stomach dropped. Claire, our neighbor. Talkative. Curious. And Emma's older cousin. No, 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 I whispered, already moving for the stairs. I have to change, now. She's not coming in, Mom said, blocking my path. The door opened anyway. Hey. Claire called cheerfully. Just bringing back your casserole dish. And I stood there, frozen, heart pounding, knowing there was no way out. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. I flattened myself against the upstairs hallway wall, pulse slamming in my ears, praying I blended into the shadows. Claire's voice floated closer, casual and curious. Then, is someone else here? She asked. I thought I heard a girl. Time stopped. My mom paused just long enough for my chest to tighten. Oh, just my daughter. She's visiting from out of town. Daughter. The word lodged itself in my throat. Claire laughed. Since when do you have a daughter? She's shy, Mom replied lightly, warmth and mischief tangled together. I could hear the smile in her voice. Footsteps tapped toward the stairs. I didn't breathe. Well, I'd love to meet her sometime, Claire said. Another time, Mom answered quickly, steering her back toward the door. The moment it shut, my legs gave out. I slid down the wall, palms pressed to my face. Daughter, I whispered. Mom climbed the stairs slowly. When she reached me, her expression was unreadable. It just came out, she said. But I knew better. Something had shifted, not just in her, but in me. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, she appeared, the girl from the mirror. Soft curls framing her face. Gentle features. The way the dress clung to her like it belonged there. Real. Not pretend. And then there were those words again. My daughter. I'd spent years sealing that version of myself away, boxing her up, pretending she didn't exist. And now someone else had seen her, if only as a shadow, a silhouette, and nothing terrible had happened. No shock. No disgust. She just believed. That realization didn't scare me. It lit something up inside me. The next morning, I stayed hidden in my room until nearly noon, wrapped in the oversized hoodie I wore whenever my emotions got too loud. Mom had already left, but a note waited on the fridge. Don't forget to hydrate, sweetie. You've got gorgeous skin, let's keep it that way. I smiled despite myself. Part of me wanted to be angry, at the bet, at the pressure, at how she'd cracked open something I wasn't ready to face. But a quieter, truer part of me felt grateful. Because now I knew. I'd seen her. And I couldn't unsee her. That afternoon, Emma texted. Emma, hey babe, still on for dinner and a movie tonight? Then another message popped up. Emma, also LOL, had the weirdest convo with Claire. She says your mom has a daughter? My stomach dropped. I sat on the bed, phone heavy in my hands, thoughts spiraling. I typed. Deleted. Typed again. Me, haha what? No idea. Mom probably joking around. Her reply came almost instantly. Emma, weird. Claire said she sounded serious. Said she saw her silhouette upstairs. My heart sank. Silhouette. That had been me, heels, dress, wig, he pressed against the wall, barely breathing. Another message appeared. Emma, you wouldn't be hiding something from me, would you? I stared at the screen, fingers frozen. This was the moment. The crack in the dam. I hated lying, but the thought of losing her felt unbearable. I swallowed and typed. Me, of course not. And as the message sent, I wondered how long the truth could stay buried, now that she'd already begun to surface. Emma, okay. See you tonight, then. Me, yeah. Can't wait. The moment I sent it, my stomach twisted. Relief never came. Only fear. Around 4, Mom got home and tapped softly on my bedroom door. Still speaking to me, she asked lightly. I opened it and didn't bother hiding the look on my face. You told Claire I was your daughter. I suggested it, she corrected, amused. Relax, Ryan. She believed it. Said you seemed lovely? I stepped aside to let her in. Emma knows. The smile vanished. She texted me, I continued. Claire told her I was here yesterday. That she saw me. Mom's brow furrowed. What did you tell her? Just enough to survive. I exhaled. Barely. She was quiet for a moment, then asked gently, do you regret it? I sat on the edge of the bed, eyes fixed on the floor. No. And that's the problem. She joined me. I don't hear a problem. It is when I'm lying to my girlfriend. When I'm terrified she'll look at me and know. What if she doesn't run? Mom said softly. What if she understands? I looked at her. Do you actually think that's likely? She didn't answer. We both knew why. That evening, I got ready for Emma the same way I always did, shower, deodorant, clean jeans. Normal. Safe. But my hand hesitated at the dresser. That drawer. I opened it. Soft fabric stared back at me like a challenge. The pale blue panties. The matching bra. The dress folded neatly. The wig resting on top like a secret waiting to breathe. I shut the drawer. Not tonight. Tonight, I had to be Ryan. Tonight, I had to protect the lie, even though it felt heavier than ever. Emma arrived at 7, all black leather and smoky eyeliner. Effortless confidence. She kissed me hello, but her gaze lingered on my face longer than usual. What? I asked. She shrugged. Your skin looks really smooth. I coughed. Must be the lighting. We sat on the couch and started a movie, but I barely registered it. Every shift of her body made me tense. Every glance felt like an inspection. Halfway through, she muted the TV. Okay, she said. Tell me. My blood ran cold. Tell you what? You're acting like you stole something. What's going on? I forced a laugh. I'm just tired. She tilted her head. Claire said your mom was really serious about this daughter thing. She hesitated. She also said she was petite. Long hair. Looked kind of like you. My throat tightened. I couldn't lie anymore. But I wasn't brave enough to tell the truth either. "Do you trust me?" I asked quietly. She blinked. "Of course." "Then can you not ask about this right now?" She studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "Okay." But the silence that followed felt thick and fragile, like glass stretched too thin. After she left, I stood in front of the mirror again. The blue dress was folded on the chair where I'd left it. I stared at it, not because I planned to wear it, but because I couldn't stop wondering what Emma would say if she ever saw me in it. The next day was eerily quiet. Mom was out with friends, spa day, something about bonding and cucumber masks. The house felt hollow. Emma went silent. No texts. No calls. Just one message marked read and never answered. I told myself it was fine. But it felt like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The pressure. The ache. The growing need to feel that version of myself again, the one I'd met in the mirror and never stopped thinking about. And I knew, deep down, she wasn't done with me yet. The version of me I couldn't stop thinking about. It wasn't really about the clothes anymore. It was about her. And she was becoming impossible to ignore. I fought it for most of the day. Put on a movie I didn't watch. Ate cereal straight from the box. Booted up a game and quit 10 minutes later. My thoughts kept circling back, to the drawer, to the dress, to the name that was beginning to take shape in my mind like a secret syllable I wasn't brave enough to say. I didn't know her name yet. But I could feel her presence. Patient. Waiting. By mid-afternoon, my resistance cracked. I opened the drawer slowly, almost reverently. This time, there was no hesitation. The blue dress slipped over me like it had always belonged there. Familiar. Right. The bra and panties followed. I patted my chest, adjusted everything carefully, then brushed out the wig Mom had styled and clipped it into place. When I looked up, my breath caught. This wasn't Ryan pretending. This wasn't a costume. This was me. Her eyes looked awake in a way his never did. The way the fabric hugged her waist, the soft slope of her shoulders, even how she stood, it all felt natural. Too natural to deny. I sat at Mom's vanity and opened her makeup bag. My hands moved with more confidence now. Foundation. Light contour. A flush of pink on my cheeks. A touch of highlight along my nose. When I picked up the mascara, I paused. I remembered Emma, one eye closed, leaning toward the mirror. "This is where the magic happens," she'd always joke. I smiled faintly, then whispered it myself. This is where the magic happens. 20 minutes later, I was sitting on the couch like I no longer belonged to the life I'd been living. Legs crossed carefully. Dress smooth against my thighs. Hair framing my face just right. My eyes looked big and bright, alive. I wasn't Ryan anymore. And I didn't want to be. The TV hummed in the background, but I was floating, light, dreamy, like I'd finally let go of a breath I'd been holding for years. Then. Click. The sound of the front door turning snapped everything into focus. I froze. A voice followed. Soft. Familiar. Completely wrong. "Hello? Ryan? Are you home?" Emma. Panic surged through me. I jumped up, heels catching, nearly sending me to the floor. My heart hammered wildly. I clawed at the wig, trying to yank it off, but the clips tangled. I rushed toward the hallway. Too late. Emma stepped inside and saw me. Wig half secured. Dress fitted snug against my chest. Mascara slightly smudged from the sudden sting of tears. We stared at each other. Seconds stretched. She blinked first. Her mouth opened, then closed. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Emma, my voice shook. "I can explain." She lifted a hand, not to stop me, but to really look at me. I knew something was going on, she said slowly. I didn't think it was this. My entire body trembled. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. I was scared. My voice cracked. I didn't want to lose you. She looked me over again. Not angry. Confused. And something else. Curious. Is this who you are? She asked quietly. The question hung between us. I didn't know how to answer. For the first time, I truly didn't know. She stepped closer. I flinched instinctively, but she only reached up and gently fixed the wig clip that had slipped loose. Her touch was careful. Thoughtful. And everything I thought I understood about myself, and us, shifted all at once. She gently brushed a loose strand of hair away from my cheek. Her voice stayed low, careful. I felt the mascara smudge as my eyes burned, and I let out a laugh that sounded more like a sob. I was just watching TV, I said weakly. I didn't think you'd come over. I wasn't planning to, she admitted. But Claire kept texting. I couldn't not know. I swallowed. Do you hate me? She took her time answering. No. But I need to understand. We stood inches apart, her familiar perfume mingling with mine. My chest felt tight, like every breath mattered. I don't even know who she is, I whispered. But I think she's me. Emma held my gaze for a long moment. Then she said quietly, tell me about her. She didn't leave. Instead, we ended up at the kitchen table, me still fully dressed, still unmistakably her. I caught her eyes drifting now and then, the curve of my shoulder, the shine on my lips, the way I held myself differently. I braced for judgment. Anger. Tears. None came. You look beautiful, she said at last. My heart stuttered. Don't say that unless you mean it. She tilted her head. I wouldn't say it if I didn't. I don't even know what this is, I said, my voice unsteady. It started as a dumb bet with my mom. One outfit. One day. And now, she prompted softly. I looked down at my neatly painted nails. Now I don't want to take her off. She leaned in slightly. Her. I nodded. She rested her hand over mine. Then maybe she isn't a joke. Maybe she's a part of you. My throat tightened. I've never told anyone. I didn't think I ever would. I'm glad you didn't keep it buried forever, she murmured. For one fragile moment, I felt seen, fully, honestly seen. Then the front door opened. Mom stepped inside, arms full of beauty products, her bright smile fading the second she took us in, me transformed, Emma holding my hand. Oh. The silence shattered like glass. Emma stood abruptly. I should go. No, Mom said quickly, lifting a hand. Please don't. Emma looked at me. I nodded. It's okay. She stayed. Mom set the bag down slowly. Well. This is earlier than I expected. You knew? Emma asked. She's the one who made the bet, I muttered, my voice edged with something tangled. Resentment. Gratitude. Both. Bet? Emma repeated. Mom sighed and pulled out a chair. A few nights ago, I caught Ryan in my closet again. I could have scolded him. Shamed him. She glanced at me gently. Instead, I made him an offer. An offer to what? Emma asked. To let the part of him he hides breathe, for 7 days, Mom said. He'd live as my daughter. Clothes. Mannerisms. Everything. Emma turned to me, stunned. You agreed to that? I thought I'd quit by day 2, I admitted. And now, my voice dropped. I don't know. Terrifying, I said honestly. But also right. Like I've been holding my breath my whole life, and now I finally get to breathe. And in the quiet that followed, no one argued with that truth. Emma said nothing. Neither did my mom. The quiet grew thick, pressing in on all of us. Then Mom leaned forward, eyes bright with something dangerous. "If you're ready to take this further," she said, "I have an idea." My stomach dropped. "Mom, no. Just listen," she insisted. "There's a charity event this weekend. A community fashion walk. Anyone can sign up." My heart began to race. "Absolutely not." Emma blinked. "Wait, are you saying she should walk in it?" Mom smiled, unfazed. "She wouldn't be Ryan. She'd be my confident, stunning daughter. Fully styled. Fully seen." I shot to my feet. "That's insane." "You wouldn't have to compete," Mom said quickly. "Just walk. That's it. One appearance. Own the moment." "People would see me," I snapped. "Yes," she said gently. "And maybe they'd finally see her." I turned to Emma, desperate for resistance, for her to shut this down. Instead, I saw something unexpected flicker across her face. Admiration. "You've already crossed so many lines," Emma said softly. "What's one more step?" I shook my head. This was supposed to stay private. Safe. Not public. "You can still back out," Mom said, stepping closer. That familiar anger burned in my chest, the one that flared every time I looked in the mirror and refused myself honesty. "And if I say no?" I asked quietly. Mom didn't hesitate. "Then the bed ends. No more makeup. No more clothes." She paused. "No more daughter." I looked down at myself, the dress, the heels, the skin I was only just learning to love. Could I give that up? Would I ever forgive myself if I did? That night, I stood in front of the mirror again. This time, Emma sat on the bed behind me, watching as I carefully reapplied my makeup. Each brushstroke felt intentional. Almost sacred. "You really considering it?" she asked. I met her eyes in the reflection. "If I don't, I'll spend my whole life wondering." She smiled, slow and sure. "Then we make you unforgettable." The morning of the charity event arrived far too quickly. Time had been racing ever since I'd said yes. I barely slept, caught between adrenaline and terror, aware that I was about to step onto a runway not just dressed as a girl, but as myself. I was a mess. A glamorous, shaking mess. Mom surprised me that morning. No pressure. No smugness. She handed me coffee and sat beside me while my leg bounced uncontrollably. "You don't have to do this," she said quietly. "I know," I answered. And I meant it. But I also knew I would. Not for her. Not for Emma. Not even for the bet. I needed to know what it felt like to exist openly, to walk into the world without hiding, without pretending. Mom stood and clapped her hands once. "Then let's make magic." The transformation took nearly 2 hours. And with every passing minute, the girl in the mirror stopped feeling like a risk, and started feeling like a truth. Emma worked on my makeup like she always did, careful, precise, effortless. Soft rose shadows, winged eyeliner, a touch of contour to define my cheekbones, and just enough blush to make my skin glow. Her fingers moved steadily, but her eyes never left mine, searching, steady, as if she was trying to understand every thought hidden behind my stare. "You okay?" she whispered. "No," I admitted. She smiled softly. "Good. That means you care." Mom had chosen the dress, a pale lilac sheath with off-the-shoulder sleeves, a cinched waist, and an asymmetrical hem that hinted at elegance without showing too much. Nude heels, 3-inch, surprisingly comfortable, waited by the door. A delicate pendant necklace rested on the vanity. I stared at the outfit, breath-catching. This is actually happening, I murmured. Emma helped me slip into the dress. The fabric glided over my skin like liquid silk. She zipped the back, straightened the hem, stepped back, and I turned toward the mirror. And there she was again. The girl I had only glimpsed in reflections, in quiet, stolen moments, in dreams. But this time, she wasn't a fragment or a fantasy. She was real. She was me. Ready, sweetheart? Mom's voice was soft, warm. Sweetheart, it fit, like it had always been mine. I nodded. Let's do it. Before I changed my mind. The venue was smaller than I imagined, a community center transformed for the afternoon. Chairs lined a makeshift runway, a DJ spun pop remixes, vendors sold pastries and jewelry, and people laughed, mingled, snapped selfies. My chest tightened. My heels clicked across the floor as we approached the sign-in table. Mom smiled at the volunteers, Emma's hand held mine like an anchor. Name, a woman asked. Mom glanced at me. My throat felt dry. Riley? I stammered. Riley Matthews? I added, swallowing hard. Emma squeezed my hand. Pretty name, the woman said brightly. You're number 12. You'll walk third in the final showcase. Just head backstage. Backstage? Right now? Panic surged. I wasn't ready to face strangers, flashing cameras, judging eyes. I wanted to run. Emma leaned in, voice quiet against my ear. Riley's got this. For the first time, I believed her. Backstage was a whirlwind. Girls laughed, applied finishing touches, checked hair, lipstick, straps, heels. Stylists moved around adjusting everything. Everyone looked fierce, confident, untouchable. I felt like an imposter. I slid into a quieter corner, trying to shrink into myself, but curiosity drew glances my way, some curious, some puzzled, a few skeptical. Then a woman approached, tall, elegant, about 20, high ponytail, radiating confidence. Hey, she said. You look great. Love the color on you. Thanks, I muttered, nerves tightening in my chest. You look terrified, she added, smiling knowingly. Good. That means you care. Funny, Emma had said the same thing. The DJ's voice boomed. Final showcase begins in 5 minutes. Models, please line up. My legs turned to jelly. Emma appeared beside me, clutch in hand. Almost forgot this, she whispered, pulling me into a reassuring hug. And just like that, the world felt impossibly big, impossibly real, and for the first time, I was ready to step into it. Last chance to back out. I shook my head. No. I need to do this. Mom's smile was gentle but fierce. Then walk like you own the world. My heels clicked against the floor as I approached the lineup. Then my phone buzzed. I pulled it from my clutch. One message. From Dad. Heard about the event. Your mom's gone too far. We need to talk. This ends tonight. My stomach dropped. How did he even know? And if he was here, he'd be waiting. Angry. Furious. Ready to erase Riley with a single glare. I almost turned around. Almost stepped away. But the girl in front of me stepped onto the runway, and the lights caught her face. The audience clapped, cheered, laughed. She shone. And in that instant, I knew I couldn't run. Not now. The spotlight hit me like a beam of pure sunlight, cutting through the fear, the doubt, the storm cloud of everything that had held me back. The DJ's voice boomed. One more model in our final showcase, give it up for Riley Matthews. Riley. My name now. Not Ryan. Not a boy in a dress. Riley. I swallowed and stepped forward. The hush hit me immediately, not the crowd, exactly, but the quiet inside me, the silence where fear had once lived. Every doubt, every hesitation, melted as my heels clicked against the stage. I walked instinctively. Hips swayed like Emma had taught me, shoulders back, chin up, smile soft but real. Clutch in one hand, the other swinging naturally. The 3-inch heels demanded elegance, the dress responded, flowing with each motion. The pendant at my throat shimmered under the lights, a tiny sunburst against lilac fabric. And for the first time in my life, I felt truly seen. Not mocked. Not measured. Just seen. Then it happened. A sharp, male voice cut through the hum. "Is that Ryan?" My heart jumped into my throat. I froze for half a heartbeat, then forced myself forward. "Don't stop. Don't react." Laughter rippled from somewhere in the crowd, snickers, a cough, the click of a phone camera. My skin flushed. Faces everywhere, some impressed, some confused, a few smirking. And there, in the third row, stiff, stone-faced, my father. I halted. My legs wobbled. The lights were blinding. The music too loud. The dress tight. All the courage I had painstakingly built shattered beneath my heels. A gentle throat clear behind me. I turned. Emma stood just off stage, eyes wide, arms crossed, mouthing, "Don't stop." Next to her, Mom. Standing tall. Confident. Nodding once. "Own it." Air rushed back into my lungs. My heartbeat steadied. One foot forward, then another. Shoulders squared, chin lifted. Let them laugh. If they wanted, they would laugh at Riley, not Ryan. I walked. Slower this time. Every step deliberate. Every click of the heels a statement. The spotlight followed me, no shadows, no hiding. At the end of the runway, I paused. Slowly, deliberately, I tugged the pendant free from under my neckline. It caught the lights, silver, delicate, a shining R. Mom's gift. A symbol of who I was, and who I could finally be. As I turned to walk back, I heard it, one slow clap from the front row. Then another. And another. And this time, I didn't flinch. It wasn't a standing ovation, but it wasn't silence either. A few people smiled. One woman even stood, waving, and someone shouted, "Go, Riley." Tears stung my eyes, but I kept walking. Each step across the backstage floor sounded louder in my head than the applause outside. I barely made it before collapsing into Emma's arms. "You did it," she whispered, hugging me tight. I couldn't speak. I just nodded into her shoulder. Mom appeared a moment later, eyes shining. "Breathtaking," she murmured. I wiped my face, suddenly aware. He was in the crowd. Emma froze. "Who?" "My dad." Her eyes widened. "Are you serious?" I nodded. He saw everything. The thought of going home made my stomach twist. I didn't want to face him, didn't want to step through that door. But I had no choice. The drive was silent. Emma held my hand, thumb tracing slow, reassuring circles over my knuckles. Mom sat in the front, jaw tight, eyes forward. The makeup on my face, which had felt like armor on stage, now weighed me down, marking me as a target. By the time the car turned onto our street, my heart was hammering like it might burst. Dad's truck was parked in the driveway. He was waiting. I considered bolting, grabbing Emma's hand, disappearing into her apartment, hiding until the storm passed. But something inside me refused. Maybe it was Riley. Maybe it was pride. Or maybe I was simply done running. I stepped out. Heels clicking softly on the pavement. I walked up the steps. Mom unlocked the door. And there he was. Standing in the middle of the living room, arms crossed, every inch of his posture taut with fury. He didn't speak immediately, just looked me over. From the pale lilac dress to the delicate necklace, the soft curls in my hair, the subtle pink gloss on my lips, his son. No, his daughter, standing boldly in front of him. He blinked, like he couldn't process what he was seeing. Then he exploded. What the hell is this? I flinched. You think this is funny? Dressing like some joke in public, in front of people who know us? It's not a joke, I said quietly. He laughed, sharp and bitter. Oh, it's a damn circus. And your mom? She's the ringmaster. She didn't force me, I said firmly. He stepped closer, voice low. Don't lie to me, Ryan. It's Riley, I interrupted. The single word made him pause. His eyes narrowed. My name is Riley, I continued, voice trembling but steady. I'm not playing a game. I'm not confused. And I am not ashamed. He took a step forward, fuming. You're embarrassing this family. Mom snapped, don't you dare. I raised a hand, stopping her. No. Let him speak. His tone dropped, sharp as broken glass. You looked like a freak out there. That was it. The dam broke. I stepped forward, voice shaking but firm. Embarrassment? Shame? Do you know what it's like to be terrified of your own closet? To hide who you are every single day because you're afraid your dad will look at you and see only brokenness? His face went red. Rage, shock, disbelief. And for the first time, I didn't shrink. I stood there, heels planted, chest open, voice echoing through the living room. I was Riley. I was here. And I wasn't disappearing. You have no idea what it feels like to wake up wrong every single day, I said, my voice breaking but unyielding. To look in the mirror and feel like the person staring back is a lie. To live inside your own body and feel like you don't belong in it. Emma stepped closer, her hand warm and steady against my back. I kept going. I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose it. But this is who I am. And you don't get to erase me with one cruel sentence. Dad opened his mouth, then closed it. No anger. No rebuttal. Just silence. For the first time, he looked small. Uncertain. Then, without another word, he turned, walked to the door, and left. The sound of it closing echoed through the house like a gunshot. My legs gave out. I sank onto the couch, shaking. Emma wrapped herself around me, holding me together. Mom stood frozen for a long moment before kneeling in front of me, gently brushing a tear from my cheek. I'm proud of you, she said quietly. No matter what happens next. That night, upstairs, I wiped the makeup away slowly. Each color faded into the cotton pad eye foundation, blush, mascara, like they'd never existed. But the feeling stayed. The memory of heels on a runway. The glint of the necklace. The name Riley. It all still felt real. More real than Ryan ever had. I stared at myself in the mirror. No wig. No dress. No gloss. Just me. And for the first time, I didn't feel ashamed. 3 days passed. 3 days since the show. 3 days since Dad walked out. No calls. No texts. Nothing. The house felt hollow, like it was holding its breath. Mom went through the motions, pretending everything was normal, but her eyes betrayed her. Emma texted constantly, checking in, sending memes, calling me her brave girl. I didn't feel brave. I felt exposed. Like the world had seen me without my armor. Then came the knock. 2 sharp raps on the door. I was upstairs, still in pajamas, brushing my hair. No makeup. No performance. Just me. My stomach dropped. I peeked through the window. It wasn't Dad. It was worse. Aunt Cheryl stood on the porch, Dad's older sister, with Uncle Mark behind her. And beside them, Grandma Nora. They never showed up unannounced. My chest tightened as I crept downstairs. Mom was already at the door, shoulders stiff. "Cheryl," she said carefully. "What's going on?" Aunt Cheryl brushed past her without answering. "We saw the video." The room went cold. "What video?" Mom asked. Cheryl turned her sharp gaze on me. "You. On that stage. In that dress." Grandma looked me over with visible disapproval. Uncle Mark stared at the floor. I wanted to disappear. But Mom stepped between us. "This is none of your business." It became my business when my brother's son decided to parade himself like this, Cheryl snapped, eyes slicing back to me. "What are you even supposed to be?" "I'm not trying to be anything," I whispered. Her lip curled. "You've humiliated this family." The room spun. My chest burned. Emma's voice echoed in my head, "You're not a joke. You're Riley." "I didn't ask for your approval," I said softly. "And I didn't invite you here." Cheryl laughed bitterly. "Your father is devastated. He called us in tears. Said he lost a son." Mom's voice cut through the air, sharp and unflinching. "Then maybe he never deserved one." Silence slammed down. Cheryl opened her mouth, but the front door opened again. Dad stepped inside. Everyone turned. He looked at me, not angry this time. Just tired. He took a breath. "I've been thinking," he said. Cheryl stepped forward. "Good. Then fix this. Leave." The word sliced through the room. She froze. "Excuse me?" "Leave," he repeated. "This is my house. My family." His eyes shifted to me. "My child." Grandma gasped. Cheryl stumbled back, stunned. Dad turned fully toward me. "I don't understand all of this. I don't know what it means. But I watched that video, and I saw someone brave." Tears spilled before I could stop them. "You didn't humiliate me," he continued softly. "You scared me. And maybe that's on me." I swallowed hard. "So, what now?" He shrugged weakly. "I don't know. But maybe we start by talking." He held out his hand. I took a step forward. Ding. My phone lit up. Unknown number. "Hi, Riley. I saw your fashion show. We need to talk urgently. A lot of people saw it. You might be in danger." My breath caught. Mom noticed instantly. "What is it?" I looked up, at Dad, at Mom, at Emma, then back at the screen. And suddenly, I knew. The runway wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning.